Hello everyone. My name is Natalie Ferriozzi, and I will be presenting my Mexican lasagna recipe for the employees of CCAR in Charleston, Illinois. This is for class Nutrition 5153 at Eastern Illinois University, and I hope you enjoy. Now I will go into a brief overview of the layout of this video. First, I will provide an introduction to the recipe and who it is created for. Next, I will introduce the main recipe and the two modified recipes. In the third slide, I will briefly cover knife safety skills so the recipe prep can be carried to a safe completion. Then I will cover hand washing skills so sanitation practices can be adequate. I will then cover how to prepare the recipe and both modifications. Next, we will discuss some food and beverage items that will pair nicely with this meal. And finally, the video will conclude with some contact information if the employees have any questions later on. This recipe is created for normal, mechanical soft, and pureed intakes. It is vegan and gluten-free. It makes 4 servings, and the ingredients should be doubled for the Vinehouse, which has 7 residents. The pureed recipe is compliant with nectar or honey thick additives if necessary, and the ingredients were adjusted for allergy and food preferences. This information was supplied by the CCAR staff members prior to program planning. Alright, for knife skills, we just want to hold the knife as appeared on the video. You also want to make sure your fingers are tucked in. I know it's more comfortable to have them out, but this can be dangerous. With a down and forward motion, cut the desired item. For finely chopped needs, simply make the pieces smaller and thinner. And a basic vegetable knife will do fine for this recipe. For hand washing skills, the first thing you want to do is add soap to your hands. You're going to want to lather that in your hands, in between your fingers, under your nails, and on top of the wrist for 1 minute. You can sing the alphabet or the national anthem, and then just rinse with water and you're good to go. Alright, for the recipe instruction, first thing we're going to do is preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Next, of course, you need to wash your hands. Then we're going to combine the already chopped sweet potato, black beans, tomato, onion, bell pepper, and spices into a bowl, mix it, and set it aside. Next, we need to spray a medium-sized Pyrex with Pam. Then we're going to layer on those 2 tortillas, spread salsa over the top of that, then layer on the items from the bowl that was set aside, spread salsa on top of that, and repeat the layers. Once it's completed, you can finish off with cheese on top if desired. Bake in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. And this serving for the main recipe should be about 38 carbs. It's also a good source of healthy fats, vitamins, minerals, protein, and fiber. For substitutions for this one, the black beans can be substituted for ground meat or lima beans. We can do low salt black beans if the store has that. Also, salt does not have to be added to the recipe for low sodium needs. We can use flour tortillas, it doesn't have to be corn, and the cheese doesn't have to be included, or we can use provolone or Swiss for cardiac diets. For the first modification, which is mechanical soft, we're going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Make sure to wash your hands. Then we're going to bring 2 quarts of water to a boil and cook those whole grain noodles for 8 to 12 minutes. These will be replacing the tortillas from the first recipe. Next, we're going to finely chop the onion and bell pepper. Then we're going to combine the mashed sweet potato, mashed black beans, tomato paste, and finely chopped onion and bell pepper, as well as the spices in a bowl, mix and set aside. We're going to spray the medium Pyrex with Pam. Then you'll just repeat the same layering steps as you did in the first one. You can bake it for 20 to 25 minutes, and then the residents can add queso to the top instead of shredded cheddar just because it's softer. One serving of this should be about 46 carbs. And for substitutions, we can do mashed black beans for pureed zucchini, mushroom, lima beans, or shredded meats. The whole grain noodles are there for fiber, but they don't have to be used. And again, the queso is not needed if you have vegan residents, or you can purchase a reduced fat option. For the last modification, which is pureed, we're going to do the same steps as the previous slide, except after each step you'll need to blend the ingredients in a blender. So for example, the combined bowl of ingredients that we've been making, we'll need to put that in the blender and then blend it to a pureed consistency. You will also need to blend the noodles that were boiled and make sure to clean the blender in between those steps. We're still going to spray the Pyrex with Pam. We're still going to do the layering technique. Still going to cook for 20 to 25 minutes, and then the residents can add queso to the top if they'd like. This should be about 43 carbs per serving, and for substitutions, we're going to substitute the mashed black beans for pureed zucchini, mushroom, lima beans, or pureed meats. One cup of fruit would go nicely with this meal, and it could serve as a dessert, as well as 8 to 10 ounces of skim milk or a dairy alternative for calcium and vitamin D. 8 to 10 ounces of a bubbler or iced lemon water would also be nice. I know that the residents had issues with drinking a lot of soda and not liking water, so a bubbler would be a nice alternative for that. If combined with fruit, the average carbs for the meal would be about 50 to 60 grams, which is adequate for diabetic residents, and it is packed with healthy fats, protein, vitamins and minerals, and fiber, so it is very balanced and should suit all the needs of the patients just fine. To conclude, please reach out to either myself or Professor Lynch with any additional questions. Here are our emails on the slide. Best of luck and happy cooking!